Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Stephen Romo.
And I'm Lindsay Reiser. We're in for Joe and Savannah. Developing right now on Morning News Now, devastated. This morning, parts of a small Texas town reduced to rubble by a reported tornado overnight. The storm tore through neighborhoods, leaving several people dead and others hurt. We have team coverage this morning with a look at the areas that were hardest hit and where that rare June storm system is headed next. New this morning, Pope Francis is back at the Vatican. Just hours ago, the 86-year-old pontiff left the hospital more than a week after going in for surgery. We'll take you to Rome for an update on the Pope's condition, including what he told reporters this morning when asked about how he's feeling. Bill Cosby accused again this morning. The disgraced actor and comedian now facing a new lawsuit filed by 9 women. Each of them are claiming Cosby sexually assaulted them decades ago.
Why are you filing suit?
To take back my power.
It's time for him to be responsible for his actions.
Culpability, justice.
More of our exclusive interviews with those women, plus a look at the new legislation that made their lawsuit possible. And don't forget Dad. This weekend, Father's Day, of course, on Sunday. In case you didn't forget, I mailed out my card. As we celebrate all the dads in our lives, we also want to talk about the struggles that they often keep to themselves. We're going to break down the unique challenges many fathers face when it comes to mental health and what loved ones can do to show support. We often lead on dad, be the strong one, but who's supporting them? So that'll be an important conversation.
Very much so. We'll get into that.
We're going to begin this morning, though, in the Texas city of Perryton, where at least 3 people are dead. Dozens others are injured after a reported tornado ripped through the town yesterday. Yeah, just a difficult situation here. A mobile home park took a direct hit. That tornado destroying more than 25 units there. It also left extensive damage behind in the downtown area. Search and rescue teams are combing through that debris, still looking for survivors. There were actually several tornado reports in Texas and Oklahoma. People also reported hail in several areas across the South, some seeing baseball-sized hail hitting their cars and homes. And, of course, that caused significant damage. And elsewhere in Texas and in Louisiana, folks are just trying to find ways to stay cool this weekend as extreme heat continues. Temperatures spiking in the triple digits. And as many prepare for more severe storms and heat across the country, let's get a closer look at your Morning News Now forecast. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman joins us now. And Michelle, I mean, we have those juxtaposed images, right, of all of this damage and then that sweet little girl in that splash pad. Tell us the latest of what's going on across the country.
I know, that's so true. And that's going to be the story today, really. We're going to see more of the same. We are stuck on repeat. So more severe storms and more really warm weather down south. We're looking at triple digits. It's going to feel more like 110 to 120 in spots. But starting with the severe weather, we had a wild day yesterday, just all day long watching the storms. Overnight, same story. And even at this hour, we're watching some storms. So we have watches and warnings where you see the yellow. That's your severe thunderstorm watch. It extends from Texas all the way along the Gulf Coast. We have severe thunderstorm warnings. We even had tornado warnings. We continue to see that. And that will be the story as we go throughout the day. Really, really heavy rain, too. Pensacola has seen over a foot of rain, and we're adding to that. So this is a snapshot for today. Heavy rain in portions of the central and southern plains could see some severe weather there. Looking at the risk for some heat in the south, triple digits, and then looking at severe weather, too, along the Gulf Coast. This is what it looks like. This is the culprit here. It's a nearly stationary boundary. It's draped over the same area. It's triggering those storms. We're going to see that once again, and we could see winds once again gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Could see some really large hail, not expecting the 5-inch hail that we saw yesterday in some spots, and could see a few tornadoes as well, although the ingredients aren't quite as robust as they were yesterday. But still 9 million people at risk for hail, damaging winds, a chance for a few tornadoes. As we look to the west, we're looking at Dodge City. You're likely to see some strong to severe storms. Little Rock, Jackson, Mobile, down to Tallahassee, same story. You need to be on alert. You've been on alert for days. You're going to do that once again today. And then look what happens tomorrow. Stuck on repeat once again. So this is Saturday. 6 million people still at risk for strong to severe storms. Winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Could see some hail once again. Also the chance of a few tornadoes. Oklahoma City, you've been dealing with this for days. Dodge City, same story. The Gulf Coast, Pensacola. Again, you have that heavy rain. We could see some flash flooding, could see some strong storms as well. So here's that flash flooding risk where you see this darker blue here, Mobile, Alabama into Tallahassee. We're looking at the chance for heavy, heavy downpours. And we do have some flash flooding occurring now, so you really want to be careful in this part. We'll talk more about this. We're going to talk more about the heat, too, coming up. Back to you guys.
All right. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Let's go ahead and bring in NBC News correspondent Sam Brock in Perryton, Texas, with a look at the tornado damage. Sam, good morning.
Perryton, Texas.
population 8,000, was just blindsided by multiple tornadoes. I'm standing right now at First and Main Street. This is the downtown strip right here. And look what it looks like right now. This used to be a gym, restaurants, bars, banks, all gone. Their city hall here houses both the fire and police departments. That is wiped out. 100 homes, 30 businesses either damaged or destroyed. You're talking about the very fabric of this community. As we spoke with the mayor this morning, who was seeing all of this for the first time and trying to just sort of process it, but he said they're getting donations and calls already. Folks are going to be picked up, and soon. But as far as what's going on right now in terms of injuries, 75 to 100 people have already been treated at a local hospital here, everything from minor cuts and bruises to a collapsed lung. 3 confirmed fatalities. 1 person still missing at this hour. We know that Texas A&M has search and rescue crews that are on their way right now who are preparing in the light of day to go through all of this debris, not specifically downtown, but the nearby neighborhoods that have just been flattened. I'm told of those 100 homes that were destroyed or damaged, about 40 or 50 of them come from mobile home development. So you're talking about people where everything they owned were in those homes. We know that there are going to be state officials here later today meeting with the mayor and the fire chief as well, and then we're expecting a briefing later this morning. That's the latest here in Perryton. Sam Brock, NBC News.
Okay, Sam, thank you.
All right, now to the latest push for gun safety. Today, President Biden is set to make a speech at the National Safer Communities Summit. That event comes near the 1-year anniversary of the signing of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. That bill was signed following the aftermath of the Uvalde, Texas elementary school shooting and the shooting in Buffalo. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander joins us now with a preview of that event. Peter, good morning. So that event today happening at the University of Hartford. What can we expect there? And if you would, remind us of what exactly was in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act.
Yeah, so, Stephen, it is by design that President Biden's going to be going to Connecticut today, of course, a state that has been a leader on gun safety laws in the decades since the awful tragedy there at Sandy Hook Elementary. Connecticut has one of the lowest gun violence rates in the country. And today the president's going to be joined by some state and local leaders. The former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords will be there. She survived an assassination attempt back in 2011 in her district. And the president's really hoping to highlight the progress and to call on other states and Congress to do more. Just last month, on the anniversary of the Uvalde school shooting, President Biden said the U.S. still, in his words, has not done nearly enough to deal with gun violence. The Justice Department, they're expected to announce more than $70 million. I think it's $74 million in grants through the law intended to bolster the nation's background check system, what's called NICS, to make sure more records are available. That's fortifying part of what was completed in that law, passed in the law a year ago. And the Departments of Education, Health and Human Services, they're going to push ahead on mental health investments, detailing resources available to states that to these states that will have access to them thanks to that law a year ago. The president's repeatedly called for a new ban on assault-style weapons, as you've heard, like the one that he helped pass as a senator almost 30 years ago, but that expired in 2004. I suspect you will hear that call again. Some of the biggest takeaways, the biggest bipartisan effort that was passed a year ago in that bipartisan gun safety law was red flag warning, some furthering of the background check system as well. And the president's really going to try to amplify what was accomplished then and try to push forward with what more he says still needs to be done.
Hard to believe it's been almost a year since then. We'll be watching that one, Peter. Also wanted to ask the president making some comments yesterday going after those so-called junk fees, something he also mentioned in his State of the Union address. What were your takeaways from those remarks?
Yeah, this was a big deal, actually, and it's something that really affects every American. If you've ever gone online, try to buy tickets to a concert where it says it's $100 and you end up paying $140 when all the fees are tacked on. The White House has been cracking down on this. At the State of the Union, the president said Americans are sick of being played for suckers. And now, by this effort from the White House, a series of companies, some of the most high-profile ones in the business, have come forward voluntarily to say they're on board with this effort. The president touting Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster, SeatGeek as well, both of them this summer will no longer hide fees from the total ticket cost for Live Nation in particular. They own about 200 venues around the country, and beginning in September, when you go online to purchase those tickets at those venues, you will see exactly what the total price is. The frustration that a lot of people experience, not just for tickets to concerts, but when you're trying to go to a hotel, perhaps even to an Airbnb, is that you could get so far into the process, 5 or 6 clicks, before you even realize what the real total cost was. The White House hopes that this effort will allow Americans a better way to compare and contrast the prices between different options presented to them to get the best deal available. As for Airbnb, Stephen, it was back in December that they went in on this all-in pricing where you see that number up front, and it's not hidden as it has been in the past, Stephen.
Yeah, so helpful. No one likes those surprise fees. All right, Peter, thank you.
That is some alarming news involving the nation's cybersecurity. The U.S. government says several agencies have fallen victim to data breaches recently. This is part of a cyber attack involving dozens of companies and organizations across the country. And the country's top civilian cybersecurity watchdog says the hackers are gaining access through a popular file-sharing software. NBC News global security reporter Dan Deluce joins us now with more on this attack. So, Dan, how did this happen? What do we know about the hackers and the scope of the attack?
Well, it's a very large-scale attack that started in private industry, and it's now hit several federal agencies, including the Energy Department. And as you said in your intro, it involves this software, a very popular tool called Move It, which allows you to move, transfer data securely. But here we find out it's not secure enough. The federal government says that they don't think there's any national security risk here, but they're still trying to get their arms around the extent of the potential damage and whether any extremely sensitive data or information may have been compromised.
What's being done to prevent something like this from happening again?
Well, this is the problem. They are trying to put out a patch now, this company that makes the software, to try to fix this weakness in this software tool. But of course, there are an incredible number of cyber attacks or attempted attacks every day, both in the private sector and on the federal government. And it's much harder to defend against them. As soon as you fix one kind of leak in the system, they're off to another vulnerability. So it's a constant challenge. And there are questions now about this particular company and this software, which has really had a number of problems exposed now over several months.
So, this is the third known instance in the last few years here of foreign hackers being able to break into federal agencies. I mean, should the average person be worried about the vulnerability of their information? Should the United States be worried about the vulnerability of sensitive government information?
I think there's a cause for concern, both for the individual citizen and for the federal government. There's a huge amount of money being spent on this and a huge effort to try to shore up cyber defenses across the federal government. They think they've made a lot of progress, and I think the jury's out now. There was an attack in 2020 by Russian intelligence hackers that hit 9 agencies. That was very serious and damaging. There was another attack in 2021 that emanated from in this case, this is a private cyber criminal gang, but it has Russian links. And at the moment, the government does not believe it's directly connected to the Russian government. But I think we're going to be hearing more about this from Congress. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions about how this came to happen and maybe it could have been prevented.
Okay, Dan, thank you so much.
In Pittsburgh, a federal jury is set to continue deliberations today on 63 charges against the alleged shooter at the Tree of Life Synagogue massacre. Closing arguments in the trial wrapped up yesterday after 11 days of emotional testimony. Robert Bowers is accused of fatally shooting 11 Jewish people in 2018 in what was called the worst anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history. He has pleaded not guilty. And new this morning, Pope Francis has left the hospital in Rome where he was recovering from abdominal surgery.
The 86-year-old pontiff left the hospital in a wheelchair and stopped to say hello to well-wishers and medical staff who gathered outside. NBC News foreign correspondent Claudio Livanga joins us now from Rome with the latest. So, Claudio, good morning. How did Pope Francis look, and what did he say to reporters?
Good morning. Well, he was wheeled out of the hospital early this morning on a wheelchair. And when a journalist asked him how he was doing, well, he said, "I'm still alive." Now, this is Not the first time he says that, especially when he comes out, he's going in and out of hospital. But certainly the fact that the first thing we heard him say since he's been recovering in that hospital for a week is a joke, essentially. He's just joking around. And the fact that he retained a sense of humor certainly is as good as a sign as any. Now, after that, he went to the Basilica of St. Mary Major here in Rome, where he usually goes to thank the Virgin Mary, pray to the Virgin Mary after every international trip or when he comes out of hospital. And now we believe he's back in the Vatican, where he will continue to rest and recover. Lindsay.
Yeah, and Claudio, Stephen here. It's good to see him in good spirits, but there have been other health scares with the Pope. So what are doctors saying about this incident and the time he spent in the hospital?
Well, the doctors have been fairly positive about his recovery. For a week now, we've had 2 bulletins coming out of the Vatican, also that also included the assessment by the medical staff, and they continue to say that the surgery was successful, that he reacted well to both the surgery and also the general anesthesia, which is always dangerous for an 86-year-old person or patient, and that the post-surgery course was regular. Now, they also, though, advise that he should continue to rest and recover, because the recovery from such an operation takes weeks. And that is maybe why the Pope has confirmed, the Vatican has confirmed the private audiences that the Pope has scheduled from now on with heads of states or members of the church. But they have cancelled for now the general audience that was scheduled to take place next Wednesday. The general audience is a meeting with a lot of people, a lot of faithful in a convention hall within the Vatican, perhaps to allow him to just rest a little more rather than, and of course, fully recover in time for perhaps the next international trips. Lindsay, Stephen?
Yeah, let's talk about those. I mean, when a lot of us try and recover, it's, sit on the couch and watch Netflix. When you're the Pope, you can't necessarily do that. He already has planned upcoming trips to Portugal, to Mongolia. Are there concerns about his busy summer schedule?
Well, for now, there is no indication from the Vatican that the surgery will have any impact on those travels. As a matter of fact, it is very much possible that this surgery, which was not an emergency, but it was something that has been planning for a while, was actually done now, so to allow him to fully recover in time for those trips. The next trips are on between the 2nd and the 6th of August to Lisbon in Portugal, where he's expected to attend World Youth Day, something he really cares about. He's attended all World Youth Days since he was elected Pope 10 years ago. And then there is an actually more difficult one to Mongolia between the end of August and the beginning of September. No sign yet that any of those trips will be affected, but we'll have to wait and see. Back to you guys.
Okay, Claudio, thank you so much. Welcome back. A federal grand jury has officially indicted alleged Defense Department leak suspect Jack Teixeira. The Air National Guardsman is accused of leaking classified Pentagon documents on the social media platform Discord. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Kristen Welker has the latest. Kristen?
Good day to you. This is a major development in this case. A federal grand jury indicting Jack Teixeira on 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of classified information relating to national defense. Teixeira was arrested at his home in Massachusetts 2 months ago. Authorities say he posted the documents on a social media chat room, which the Attorney General says could have caused exceptionally grave damage to national security if shared. Teixeira's attorney has said he never meant for the information to be widely disseminated, but the episode raising serious questions about why someone in a National Guard unit who works in IT allegedly had access to some of the nation's most sensitive secrets. Back to you.
Kristen, thank you.
Well, this morning, it looks like the proposed merger between Saudi-backed Live Golf and the PGA Tour is now getting closer scrutiny from the Department of Justice. A source who has been briefed on that matter confirms that the Justice Department's antitrust division has notified the PGA Tour that it will review the controversial merger with Live Golf. It's not yet clear if any enforcement action will be taken against the golf companies, but the PGA Tour had already been under investigation by the DOJ for anti-competitive behavior after the tour prevented players from playing in the PGA Tour events once they joined Live Golf. Of course, that was back when Live Golf was a rival company. In a statement about the probe, the tour said, quote, "We're confident that once all stakeholders learn more about how the PGA Tour will lead this new venture, they will understand how it benefits our players, fans, and sport while protecting the American institution of golf."
The Supreme Court delivered a big win for Native American families yesterday. In a 7-2 vote, the court upheld a law that aims to keep Native American adoptees within their tribes. President Biden celebrated the news, saying the decision keeps in place a vital protection for tribal sovereignty and Native children.
Welcome back. Actor and comedian Bill Cosby is facing a new sexual assault lawsuit. As we mentioned yesterday, 9 women have filed a civil suit in Nevada accusing him of sexual misconduct that dates back decades.
It comes just weeks after a new law was signed in Nevada that eliminates the statute of limitations for civil cases involving adults. NBC News senior national correspondent and News Now anchor Kate Snow spoke exclusively with 6 of the 9 women who filed suit.
A new chapter in the legal saga of Bill Cosby.
Our tummy needs some yummy, right?
Accusers aiming a fresh lawsuit at the comedian after years of battling to have their stories heard.
Why are you filing suit? To take back my power.
It's time for him to be responsible for his actions.
Culpability, justice.
The lawsuit, filed by 9 women, says Cosby drugged or attempted to drug each of these women before sexually assaulting them in either Reno or Las Vegas. Several women alleging Cosby assaulted them in his suite at a Vegas hotel.
We started out small and frightened and scared. And through the years and through the support of everyone, I think we're all a force to be reckoned with.
It's a new legal avenue some of those same women actually helped create.
He insisted that I have 2 drinks, and within a few minutes I became dizzy and disoriented.
Accuser Lisa Lott Lublin lives in Nevada and teaches middle school. She and her husband Ben have spent 8 years lobbying to change state laws around sexual assault.
We said we got to do this because, honestly, I didn't see it for myself. I saw it for these incredible women that are on this video. And I saw it for the children that I teach.
Then other Cosby accusers joined her, testifying before the state legislature.
I was raped when I lived in Reno.
Lobbying for a new law that would allow any adult alleging sexual assault to file a civil suit no matter how long ago the incident happened.
Ready?
2 weeks ago, Lublin was there when Nevada's governor signed it into law.
What these laws changing means is that perpetrators can no longer hide behind an arbitrary time limit called the statute of limitations, that victims, plaintiffs will be able to present our evidence, our testimonies, and our witnesses in a court of law, no matter how much time has passed.
That law enabled their new lawsuit.
I didn't expect this to be the outcome. And it's kind of like, is this really happening?
Their suit seeks compensatory and punitive damages.
This is an incredibly powerful group of women right here.
I first met these 6 women when I interviewed a group of 27 Cosby accusers in one room in 2015.
The conversation needs to be had.
In 2018, Bill Cosby was convicted of indecent assault, but 3 years later, Pennsylvania's Supreme Court overturned his conviction. The court found Cosby was denied protection against self-incrimination.
I'm still angry, and that right there is why I'm part of this suit. And I know that people are going to say, oh, yeah, sure, you got the law changed, and now you're after his money. I can promise you, many, if not most of us, never planned on doing this. This is the only recourse I have left.
Cosby has long denied all allegations of sexual abuse. Reacting to the new Nevada lawsuit, Cosby spokesman Andrew Wyatt accused the women of being motivated by their addiction to massive amounts of media attention and greed. And Wyatt said, from this day forward, we will not continue to allow these women to parade various accounts against Mr. Cosby anymore without vetting them in the court of public opinion and inside of the courtroom. The women are seeking a jury trial, in part, they say, to help other survivors.
Look at all of us now. It's never, ever too late to take our lives back and to get the justice every single one of us deserves. And we're living proof of that.
You don't feel human unless you fight back. In some way, there has to be a fight. And when you've been drugged, you never even got the chance to fight. And I didn't get the chance to fight for over 25 years. There's nothing more empowering than trying to take back your control.
You're all fighting now.
Together.
Our thanks to Kate Snow for that report. Bill Cosby faces other civil lawsuits. 5 women have sued him in New York. Another woman filed suit in California just 2 weeks ago. As we've noted, Cosby has no criminal convictions and has denied any wrongdoing. He was found civilly liable for molesting a 16-year-old in 1975.
Well, joining us now for more on this is MSNBC legal analyst and former prosecutor Kristen Gibbons-Fedden. Kristen, thanks so much for being here. And as we just heard in Kate's piece, this new lawsuit was possible thanks to that new statute of limitations law that passed in Nevada. Of course, you were a prosecutor during the Cosby trial 5 years ago. So I'm curious, what's your take on this new law and how it can change things for these accusers of Cosby?
This new law is amazing. The statute of limitations basically limits the time by which a person can bring forth a lawsuit. And in particular for sexual assault survivors, where delayed disclosure or the time by which they're ready to tell their story is really, really long. It's really great. It is fantastic that Nevada is finally recognizing that delayed disclosure is just insufficient. The 2-year statute of limitation is insufficient to account for delayed disclosure, which is the norm for many sexual assault survivors. The other thing that's really important about Nevada's law, which is very different from other states, is that they have eliminated the statute of limitations wholly for certain sexual assault survivors. So that not just includes child sexual assault survivors, but also includes adult sexual assault survivors, just like all of these 9 women that you just heard from.
So, Kristen, as we mentioned, Cosby is also facing a separate sexual assault lawsuit in California. Similar law just passed, lifts temporarily, though, the statute of limitations for a 1-year window that closes at the end of the year. His accuser there actually told the Washington Post E. Jean Carroll gave her a boost of confidence to file this. So what will Cosby's accuser need to prove during her case? And yesterday when we were talking about Danny Savalas, he said sometimes these can get difficult because memories fade, evidence lapses, witnesses can pass away. I mean, what challenges is she up against?
She's up against a lot of challenges for the very same reasons that you stated. No witnesses, well, maybe few witnesses. There may be certain receipts that she could say that would substantiate her being in certain places that are no longer in existence. But again, I think what it boils down to is whether or not the jury will accept what the survivor is saying. And in the Cosby trial, we did that, and I'm a civil litigator now. And the way that I challenge and do those things is I challenge societal norms. I educate the jury. I talk about delayed disclosure. I challenge the rape myths that they may have accepted so that I can educate them that these are actually normal responses to sexual assault. Many people don't immediately go to the police. Many people hold it inside because they're full of shame, they're full of humiliation. And once you're able to educate the jury, then the survivor is on a level playing field with the perpetrator. And keep in mind, different from a criminal trial, a civil trial only requires a preponderance of the evidence. So you just have to show that the believability just by a slight tip of that scale. And then what you do is you show how much this has created an impact in this person's life, how it has changed the trajectory of their life. At that point, then the jury will say, okay, I believe this person. This person has been damaged by this. How much can I award them?
Some challenges to come, but they seem like they are going to fight from that Kate Snow piece. Kristen Gibbons-Fedden, thanks so much for helping us break that down.
A group of archaeologists in North Florida are unearthing what they believe is the nation's oldest free black settlement, dating back 250 years. Fort Mose provided a community for formerly enslaved people to live. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has the story.
It takes trudging through a marsh to get there, but this tiny wooded patch in the swamps of Northeast Florida was the setting for an unbelievable and still mostly unknown part in American history. Around 250 years ago, Fort Mose was home to the first free black settlement in what would become the United States. Now, the recently rediscovered site is being excavated by archaeology students who make daily treks to unearth the area's artifacts. Doctors Lori Lee and James Davidson are 2 of the project's leaders.
At the point when they established the first fort in 1738, over 100 people had come. The Spanish governor insisted that they move back out and establish a second fort in 1752, and that lasted until 1763.
With the cooperation of the Spanish Army, the self-sustaining settlement flourished, and formerly enslaved people built homes, held jobs, and even formed a militia. Some of the people who lived here opened shops in nearby St. Augustine.
The idea that the Underground Railroad went north, right? And this time frame, it went south. And so people were coming south to self-emancipate and establishing communities.
While it may not seem like much, small artifacts like nails, pieces of pots, and musket balls help these experts tell a much bigger story.
And that's what a lot of that archaeological work that we're doing out there is doing, right? We're giving new narrative to it. We're learning about the people that were there.
However, as Dr. Lee's team tries to find out more about the site, other teachers in Florida are feeling pressure not to talk about Black history.
The issue is we have guidelines and standards in Florida. We want education, not indoctrination.
Last year, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signed what he called the Stop Woke Act, which essentially prohibits instruction on race relations or diversity that imply a person's status as either privileged or oppressed. While the law was blocked by a federal judge as it faces numerous court challenges, some teachers are already changing their lessons about race and certain aspects of our nation's history.
I will say within the politically challenging times in Florida, in that we are a private institution, we will continue to do what we're doing because we think it's really critically important. And I will say that at the same time that that is happening politically within the state, the public seems to really want to know much more about these things.
They say one sign of public interest are the recent grants and donations to the fort, which are funding a multi-million-dollar renovation to transform this building into a fully immersive experience, the next chapter in Fort Moset's long history.
Our thanks to Valerie Castro for that story. As for the new center, we're told they hope to break ground this fall.
A lot of progress there. Welcome back. As the school year winds down in many school districts, they're already contending with a looming problem for next year, a shortage of teachers, something we've talked about a lot of. NBC's Antonia Hilton visited one Texas town to see why educators there are calling it quits.
School districts all across the country are facing a teacher shortage, fueled by the pandemic and teachers' concerns about low pay and burnout. But in Texas, many teachers say that it's actually politics. We spent time with one teacher in the Grapevine Colleyville School District in North Texas, who says that her dream job became a nightmare. Take a look. On the same day that high school English teacher Emily Ramser won an award for being an outstanding Texas educator, she stood in front of the Grapevine Colleyville School District to tell them why she was among dozens of staff members resigning this year.
This community has continuously harassed me for the past few years, to the point that there were days I didn't even want to be alive anymore, much less be a teacher. So I'm going to listen to what I am hearing from this community, which is that y'all don't want people like me, people who might be gay, to teach here.
School districts across the country are facing a teacher shortage, fueled by burnout and low pay. But in Texas, many blame politics. Last year, Ramser's district saw a 40% jump in resignations and retirements after new conservative school board members pushed to remove hundreds of books and restrict lessons about race and LGBTQ identities.
I've taught these kids for years to write and to grow their voices, and I'm not going to let my actions say something different.
Ramser, who identifies as queer, says she was asked to change some of her lessons and to remove classroom artwork and rainbow stickers. Then, one afternoon last year, a parent told a local news site that Ramser encouraged her child to become transgender by lending her a book called The Prince and the Dressmaker.
All I did was give a kid a book.
What went through your mind?
I was terrified. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think.
The mother who accused Ramser declined to speak with NBC News, but the child and her father say the allegations were false, that the child already identified as transgender. The district cleared Ramser, but never made a statement for her to the public. The district declined to respond to NBC News about this specific case, but acknowledged it has more openings this year than last year, saying many other school districts, not only in Texas but across the nation, are also experiencing this declining retention rate of teachers and other employees.
It's almost like we're in a battle against the school board when the school board should be on our side.
Students described Emily Ramser's classroom as one of the most welcoming spaces at school.
I think Ms. Ramser was a few places anyone in general could feel accepted, no matter your race, religion, gender, sexuality.
Do you feel safe at school right now?
Not entirely, no.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of aspects of who I am as a person that I cannot express because of the environment of the school that I go to.
NBC News obtained the district's 2023 teacher engagement survey. In it, almost 300 out of 1,500 staffers complained about the board. By the end of the school year, Emily Ramser's once vibrant classroom was barren.
Nobody can stop you from getting the education you deserve. I will give you book recommendations because I can give you book recommendations now, hopefully, but you really can do anything.
Surrounded by her students, she was determined to teach one final lesson. This fall, Emily Ramser is going to start her career over in a new school district. In the meantime, her students from Grapevine and Colleyville say that all of this has inspired them to become more, not less political, and that they're looking forward to, in some cases, voting for the first time in a local election.
All right, Antonia, thank you.
All right, let's switch gears and turn now to some financial headlines. Microsoft's expansion in the AI world seems to be attracting investors.
CBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other news. Good morning, Silvana.
Stephen, Lindsay, good morning. Yeah, so those are shares of Microsoft because they are sitting at record highs. Thanks to the optimism and excitement surrounding everything related to AI, the company's market valuation is now nearly $2.6 trillion, trailing only Apple. Microsoft is seen as a leader in the adoption of AI technology due to its huge investment in OpenAI. That's the startup behind the popular ChatGPT. Meanwhile, Uber is going to start showing video ads in the app while you wait for your driver. Uber also plans to install tablets and seat backs to show ads to passengers. The company is expanding video ads for Uber Eats. They'll appear right after you place your order, and Drizzly will also add ads to its app. The Wall Street Journal says that a key selling point for advertisers is the huge amount of data that Uber has on its users, such as the places they visit and what they frequently order on Uber Eats. And book your trip, guys, because Virgin Galactic, that's the space tourism company founded by billionaire Richard Branson, says it will launch its long-awaited commercial spaceflight service later this month. Now, the first flight, called Galactic One, is planned between June 27th and 30th. A second flight will follow in early August, with monthly flights expected after that. And Virgin Galactic stock has lost more than 2/3 of its value last year, and that was due to several delays in the launch of the commercial service, guys. All right, who's going to space?
I want to retire one day, Silvana. I don't know.
I would go. I would go.
Same. Let's vote. We'll go.
All right.
We'll go together. We'll go together, Stephen.
All right, Silvana, thanks so much.
Sure. This Sunday, we are celebrating dads and father figures on Father's Day. We will say our own thank yous in just a moment, but we want to take a look at a subject that is too often ignored, the mental health and well-being of the dads in our lives.
Yeah, the website Parents surveyed 1,600 fathers about their mental health and well-being, and the results give an insight into some of the struggles that they can face.
Grace Bastidas, editor-in-chief of Parents, joins us now to talk about this very important subject. So, Grace, obviously can't speak for everyone here, but I think a lot of people, when we picture our dads, we think of the strong, silent type. They take on so much of the burden. You know, is there a stigma around the mental health of fathers? Why doesn't this get discussed a lot?
Well, yes. So Parents teamed up with Very Well Health to survey 1,600 dads, and we found that dads in general are feeling disconnected, unsupported, and unappreciated. And they really half wish that family and friends checked in on them more often. And they've lost friends after becoming a dad. And we found that 46% wish they were recognized more as a parent. And as we know, this affects home life, relationships, and even the way we parent. And a lot of it does come down to stigma. This idea that men need to be stoic and that they need to suppress their emotions. And when we looked at new parents, we heard concerns about, we often hear concerns about the mom's emotional health, which is understandable, but research shows that 1 in 10 men grapple with postpartum depression, and many do so in silence because there's still that idea that they have to power through. And a lot of them really aren't turning to get care for their mental health because they're afraid of being judged. They don't want to talk about it. 45% said, if I talk about it, I'm going to be judged by my peers. And those who considered seeing a therapist, 1 in 4 decided not to for that same fear.
That's pretty heartbreaking. So many dads and men in general want to connect, but just don't know how. I did want to ask Grace about the results from this survey. 59% of dads said they wish they felt more seen overall, but when it came to mental health in particular, they overwhelmingly expressed just wanting more support, and also, as you talked about, being afraid of judgment by others when they talk about their mental health, and even struggling to talk about their feelings. So what can these numbers tell us about the sort of help that these fathers need?
Well, the interesting thing was that while most of the dads we surveyed found that it's really important to teach kids about mental health, they themselves do not have those tools. As you said, they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of even having that conversation, and they won't necessarily see a therapist, but they know that talking to kids is very important. And this lack of support really leads to feelings of loneliness. And among primary caregivers, and about half of our respondents identified as primary caregivers, they are struggling even more expressing those feelings. So it's really important to support dads and create a safe space where they can share their feelings. And we say start small. If you're a dad, look to somebody to confide in, whether it's a good friend or another father. And there are also online dad support groups that can help you open up about your fatherhood journey. And in general, it's really up to all of us to really let go of those stereotypes that are imposed on men, that they can't be vulnerable, and really encourage them to talk about how they're feeling. And if you're in a relationship and you have a co-parent, discuss your goals for your kids and really how you can work together and how you can proactively ask for help.
And Grace, this is something we're talking about now, obviously, because we're a couple days out, but this is something that we should be trying to do throughout the year, not just on one day. I mean, talk about the importance of that.
Exactly. Don't just check on your dads on Father's Day, but all throughout the year, and really encourage them to talk. And as a dad, see what kind of self-care you can get into. We found in our survey that techniques like exercise, meditation, playing music, even getting fresh air seems to help dads' mental health, whatever you're into, because 83% of dads are prioritizing their family's well-being over their own. So it's important to look at your own well-being, and we believe at Parents that it makes you a better parent.
Oh, Grace Bastidas, thank you so much. Important conversation.
Thank you.
Speaking of Father's Day, we now want to take the time to shout out our own dads and father figures right here at Morning News Now. Here's a picture of my dad. We took an art class together, kind of a great way just to bond. And
yeah, well, happy Father's Day to your dad. And my dad also coming up here. There he is with my beautiful sister at my wedding. Yeah, happy Father's Day to him. There he is with two of my many, many nieces. Adorable there. So, yeah, happy Father's Day, Dad. We got some more amazing fathers from our Morning News Now team. And, of course, many of our team members are fathers themselves. As you can see, we've got lots of special people to thank for being in our lives. From dads, grandpas, uncles, brothers, father-in-laws. Don't forget them. Stepfathers as well. It's all about celebrating those male figures we hold near and dear to our hearts. So happy Father's Day to them. The father figures as well, tuning in. And we hope you know how much you mean to us.
Oh, love it. All right. Yeah. Glad everybody got a shout out there.
Welcome back. If you're a fan of the movie The Devil Wears Prada, and who isn't really, and you always wanted to live that lifestyle, some good news for you. I'm looking at you, Lindsay. Yeah, that very stressful job. Andy Sachs, of course, the infamous Andy Sachs. You see her there. She's played by the famous Anne Hathaway. Well, it seems Vogue, the actual magazine, is looking for an assistant to support editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. The candidate will be responsible for managing event calendars, documenting meetings, and most importantly, fielding communication under Wintour. Of course, in the movie, the character inspired by Anna Wintour was played by Meryl Streep. It's not in the prompter here, but I know it's Miranda Priestley because it's such a good and watchable movie. Anne Hathaway played her assistant, and it was, as you said, stressful just to watch that. That real-life position is based in New York City, and just like the popular movie, impeccable attention to detail is required for that job.
I mean, you get to probably hobnob with celebrities. It sounds really cool.
The Chanel boots like she wore in the movie.
Yeah, you got to have
we'll have to watch that.
certain
tolerance. Yes, true, for sure. A good disposition there. We do want to end this hour with a little talk of vacation, which can improve all of our dispositions. It's just, summer is just days away, which means a lot of us are wanting to get out of the office.
Yeah, if we're not already there mentally. If you need some help deciding where to go, Condé Nast Traveler has the list for us. They just released their 2023 hot list with the world's top new places to stay, eat, and visit. So joining us now for the Inside Scoop is Deputy Global Editorial Director for Condé Nast Traveler, Jesse Ashlock. Jesse, thanks for being with us. And, you know, I checked out the list. There are even some places here in New York that I want to check out that sound cool. How did you and your team go about deciding what makes the list?
Well, thanks for having me. It's really one of those always-on things. All year long, our editors around the world in San Francisco, New York, London, in India, we're sending people to new hotels or checking them out ourselves. And late in the calendar year, we'll have a list of several hundred places that we've actually been to and vetted. And then the hard part begins, where we whittle down the list and try to come up with the most essential openings of the year that, you know, check some of those classic hospitality boxes. I mean, beauty, I mean, comfort, I mean, outstanding service, but also considerations like what the hotel is doing for the destination or the community and what its sustainability mission is. Those are huge criteria for us these days.
Interesting. Well, this list I've seen has everything: hotels, restaurants, even cruises, along with museums. So you're keeping our options really open this summer. What were some of the highlights that you saw from these categories?
Well, you mentioned New York earlier. One of my very favorites this year is, it's not a new hotel, it's a rebirth, and it's the iconic Hotel Chelsea, the place where, you know, everyone from Mark Twain to Dylan Thomas to Patti Smith once lived. Patti Smith wrote about it in Just Kids. And it closed for 11 years and then quietly reopened with this extraordinary renovation. And it's this kind of bright, colorful, modern place. There's this wonderful new bar called the Lobby Bar, and then the iconic El Quijote restaurant on the street level has also gotten refreshed. It's still got the longtime residents, who are a famous aspect of the Chelsea Hotel, so it still has that bohemian vibe.
You know, we all know that our time off is so precious. I mean, most people only get, you know, a few days to a couple of weeks here. What makes a really good spot worth both the time and the money?
There are so many tips I could give about picking the best spot, but here's three. If I was going to boil it down, I would say, number one, take into consideration everyone who's going on the trip and make sure they're going to have a meaningful experience and take something that is somewhat life-changing home with them. Number two is be aware of how crowded your destination is likely to be, especially at this time of year. We're headed into what is expected to be one of the busiest travel seasons on record. And I think for me, number three would be, you know, listen, I always recommend spending more to have a memorable experience, but I don't want anybody to bankrupt themselves by going on vacation. If you're lying on a beach and you're wondering how you're going to make your next mortgage payment, you're not going to have a good time. So, you know, travel within your means.
Yeah, very good advice. All right, Jesse Ashlock, thank you so much. Hope you have a great summer of travel ahead of you.
I hope you do, too. Thank you so much.
All right, that's going to do it for this hour. Morning News Now.
And the news continues right now. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you. I'm Lindsay Reiser.
And I'm Stephen Romo. Happy Friday. Joe and Savannah are on assignment. Right now on Morning News Now, path of destruction. This morning, search and rescue crews are looking for survivors after a reported tornado tore through a Texas town overnight. Several people are reported dead and more than 70 others are injured. The storm snapped trees, flattened homes, and left thousands in the dark. And now another round of severe weather with damaging winds, hail, and more possible tornadoes is expected today. We're tracking those storms, plus a dangerous heat wave that could see temperatures hit well into the triple digits. Offensive action as Ukraine's long-awaited counteroffensive itches forward. We're getting new insight from President Volodymyr Zelensky in an NBC News exclusive. What he told our own Richard Engel about the fight to drive out the Russians, concerns over a vulnerable target, and the upcoming 2024 American presidential election. Out of the hospital this morning, Pope Francis is back at the Vatican 9 days after he had abdominal surgery. We'll have more on what he told reporters as he was leaving the hospital and what the Vatican officials are saying about when he'll return to his normal duties. And can't miss list. It's a blockbuster weekend at the box office. From Pixar to Wes Anderson, to the long-awaited return of a comic book icon that is sure to have people sprinting to the theater. A little bit of a hint there. We've got everything you need to know about the big screen and the small screen coming up this weekend. Here's another spoiler. It's The Flash. We're looking forward to.
I feel like Chris Witherspoon comes on and just educates me on everything I need to know, and I'm good. So
that's
I'm looking
right.
forward to
It's
that.
a full menu. I love it. We do begin this morning, though, with that extreme weather that has just been battering the South.
There were reports of several tornadoes in Texas and Oklahoma. The severe storms bringing heavy winds, torrential rain, and hail to the region. And the Texas Panhandle city of Perryton is reeling this morning after a deadly tornado ripped through the region yesterday. At least 3 people are dead. Dozens of others are injured. The damage is being described as devastating. Some people there are left with nothing after the tornado flattened an entire mobile home park there. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock has the latest on the damage.
Perrytown, Texas, city of 8,000 people, blindsided by multiple tornadoes. I'm standing right now on 1st and Main Street. This is the downtown strip right here. All the businesses and cars that you see have bricks littered on top of them, aluminum siding torn off, plywood everywhere. This used to be a gym. Banks, restaurants gone. A little bit further down the street, you have City Hall, which houses the police and fire stations. Those are wiped out. Now, in terms of the numbers, injuries, at least 75, potentially as many as 100, we're told. There are 3 confirmed fatalities, 1 person who is missing. And the Texas A&M Urban Search and Rescue crews are on their way here right now, waiting to find out what they'll see in the light of day. For the people of Perryton, Texas,
it has just devastated this area.
Their town and their lives have been changed forever.
Come to the station for rescue. Come to the station for rescue.
A panorama of heartache and pain after evening tornadoes, 2 or possibly 3, touched down in this small town. Video showing one barreling across fields and crossing a highway. The storms ripped apart dozens of mobile homes, leaving this downtown area completely unrecognizable, prompting a frantic search for survivors who might be trapped underneath the rubble.
We're going to be on search and rescue, missing 4 people in this location.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott deploying emergency resources, including more than 100 members of a Texas A&M search and rescue team who are set to touch down in a few hours with at least 10 canine units. Their immediate goal, to assist in collapsed structures rescues and wide area searches.
We are without power, and we are trying to get everything we can done to restore power to our community and help those in need.
It comes as the whole region has been under siege from severe weather. Overnight, West Florida dealing with severe flash flooding. The National Weather Service calling it a life-threatening situation. Residents in that area just now waking up to over a foot of rainfall. Some 30 million people across Texas, Louisiana, and southern Florida are also under heat alerts today, with scorching temperatures expected to last for days and break records. But this morning, a nation's thoughts anchored firmly with the people in this small tornado-ravaged town that are still waiting to learn the true depth of their loss. We've also learned this morning about 15 critical care patients who were transferred to larger hospitals for further treatment. Their conditions this morning aren't clear. As for the mayor, he told me there's 30 businesses that were damaged or destroyed and about 100 homes, roughly half of them mobile homes. Everything those folks had, they had in those houses. In Perryton, Sam Brock, NBC News. Back to you.
Wow, just devastating there in that daylight, too. Sam, thank you.
Yeah, and as we can see from Sam's shot, Perryton is facing a long road ahead as they try to recover. Today, anchors Hoda Cosby and Craig Melvin spoke with Perryton's fire chief about all that damage.
It's good to see you this morning. Thank you for taking a moment from your busy morning. I know that you are on a search and rescue mission. Will you tell us where things stand at this hour?
Yes, currently, of all of the homes that we have searched, all of the occupants are accounted for except for one. And so our main priority this morning is going to be going back over that area and researching it, and then following the debris field and seeing if we are able to find that one person that's still unaccounted for.
Can you describe for us the extent of the damage
in and around town that you and your teams are seeing there?
Yeah, this one building is just absolutely just one of the many. Downtown area has many of the storefronts totally wiped off. Building collapsed or partially collapsed. The path of the storm, there are a lot of conventional construction homes that are completely destroyed. The trailer park that the tornado first hit, there's probably 25 to 30 of those homes that are completely destroyed as well. And then the path across town, there's probably going to be 150 homes, is my rough guess, is 150 to 200 homes that are going to be destroyed.
Tell me how people there are coping.
Well, you just keep hearing people say, we'll rebuild, we'll be back, and the small community, we will, and that's the hope and that we have.
Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said he's directed the Texas Division of Emergency Management to send help, including road crews and engineers, and they're certainly going to need all the help they can get. All right, now to what to expect today and into this weekend. Let's get a check of your Morning News Now forecast.
Let's say good morning again to meteorologist Michelle Grossman for details. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there, guys. Great to see you. And we're going to see more of the same today. Severe weather, not quite as robust as yesterday, but still another day of severe storms. We're going to see that once again on Saturday and Sunday. So let's take a look at radar, showing you what's happening right now. We're looking at some stronger storms moving through the Gulf Coast. That will be the theme throughout this Friday. Could see some strong storms in the Central Plains, the Southern Plains, also through the Mid-Atlantic. So we have a complex that brought tornado warnings yesterday throughout the Ohio Valley. That's all moving east, the Mid-Atlantic. We're going to see the chance for strong storms later on this afternoon. Also the addition of some really beneficial rain. 9 million people at risk today once again for severe storms. We're talking the chance for hail, not quite as large as what we saw yesterday and the day before. Also winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Yesterday we had winds gusting over 80 miles per hour. So this is still strong, still could cause some damage, but again, not showing as many robust ingredients. We're looking at isolated chances for tornadoes. That is mainly through where we see the yellow spot. So that's a slight risk. That's a higher risk, likely to see those stronger storms through Dodge City down to El Dorado, Jackson, down to Mobile, also Tallahassee. So those are the spots we're going to be watching for those severe storms. But still in the Mid-Atlantic, you could see some stronger thunderstorms as well. This is what it looks like tomorrow. 6 million once again at risk to start out the weekend. Winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. Somehow also a few tornadoes. Oklahoma City, Joplin, Dodge City. You have been in the threat for many, many days. We're going to keep that in place today. So through Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, over to Arkansas, Mississippi, and also Alabama. Here's the setup. We're seeing this stagnant pattern kind of stuck on repeat over the past several days. We'll see it once again. We have several fronts too, as you can see on this map. So this one right here, this is what's causing all the damage. It's sort of parked over the area. We're seeing that trigger of storms over and over again. It's pulling that moisture off the Gulf, and that's why we're seeing that. So strong storms once again stalled along that front. We're going to see storms developing later on this afternoon, this evening, into the Mid-Atlantic, also the Central Plains. Then by tomorrow, we're looking at Kansas and Texas once again, seeing the risk for severe storms. Locally heavy downpours, could see some flash flooding. Pensacola, you saw over 12 inches of rain so far. We had a flash flood emergency, so you want to be really careful as you're driving out and about. Rainfall totals stretching anywhere from the northern plains to the central plains, the Mississippi Valley into the southeast, also the northeast, New England into the Mid-Atlantic. We could see some really heavy downpours. There's a lot of moisture with these storms, really summer-like weather. So any of these thunderstorms could unleash that. Where we see these brighter colors, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, that's where we could see the heaviest rain falling. So today we're looking at that. We're also looking at some really hot air in the south. That is continuing an early heat wave. We have heat alerts stretching from Texas all the way along the Gulf Coast states. That's aiding the storms. A heat warning, that is in the pink. So we're looking at Houston, Lake Charles, Corpus Christi, Brownsville. And take a look at some of these numbers. I mean, we're looking at temperatures soaring into the triple digits, but you factor in that humidity, it's going to feel like 111 in Houston. It's going to feel like 117 in Corpus Christi. And this is when it gets especially dangerous. It was yesterday, the day before, today, and then it's going to stay in place. So it's hard for our bodies to kind of respond to that. Sunday in Houston, 101, 102 in Houston. So a really hot Father's Day for many of us.
Yeah, Texas used to that heat, but those consecutive days makes it very difficult.
Right.
All right, Michelle, thank you.
Sure. Now to an NBC News exclusive, an inside look at the major counteroffensive underway in Ukraine from President Volodymyr Zelensky. He spoke with NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel, who joins us now with more. Richard, good morning.
Good morning. There were more long-range Russian attacks on Kyiv this morning. We could hear the air raid sirens going off, the air defense systems in this city roaring into action, as we have more from our exclusive interview with the president.
Ukraine is in a full-scale fight to take back Russian-occupied land.
Hi, Richard.
A pivotal moment for our interview with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the presidential compound in Kyiv.
This must be a very critical time for you. Critical and very busy.
For over a year, Ukraine has been fighting successfully to defend itself. Now it's on the offensive to break through Russian front lines. It's proving to be a challenge. And Zelensky says if Ukraine prevails, they'll win the war.
We are now in the early days of this long-anticipated counteroffensive. How's it going?
I cannot give you all the details. There are both defensive and offensive actions. Things look not bad. I would say it's generally positive, but it's difficult. Our heroic people, our troops, who are now at the front of the front line, are facing very tough resistance. And you understand why. Because for Russia to lose this campaign to Ukraine, I would say, actually means losing the war.
President Zelensky also had a dire warning. He blamed Russia for blowing up a dam, which Russia denies, flooding dozens of villages. And he tells us the next Russian target is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. With U.S. elections looming, President Zelensky said he's well aware some Republican candidates, including former President Trump and Governor DeSantis, are expressing doubts about American support for Ukraine.
Yes, we are concerned about this. Yes, I believe it is a great risk for Ukraine. We are not worried about a new person in power, but a change in the policy of the United States. That's what we don't want, and I believe it won't happen.
Defense officials from NATO countries are meeting today in Brussels to discuss possible membership for Ukraine. It is something that Russia deeply opposes. Vladimir Putin personally opposes. President Zelensky said that he wants a clear path for NATO membership and security guarantees.
Okay, Richard, we'll have to see. Thank you.
All right, some more international news this morning. Pope Francis has been released from a hospital stay in Rome where he's recovering from abdominal surgery. NBC News foreign correspondent Kelly Kobayea joins us now with the latest on the Pope. So good morning, Kelly. What are doctors saying about the Pope's condition and this most recent hospital stay?
Well, as doctors say, he's doing well this morning, and in fact, that he's stronger than before the surgery because of the discomfort he was feeling. They say that will now be gone. Pope Francis is now back at the Vatican this morning. He waved to well-wishers and medical staff outside the hospital earlier today as he left, and he was seen smiling. He appeared to be in very good spirits. When asked how he was, in fact, he said, "I'm still alive." The Pope took a moment to pray at the Basilica of St. Mary Major and Hospital's Chapel before heading back to the Vatican. That's something he's done in the past after being treated. The pontiff, who is 86, underwent abdominal surgery, as you mentioned. That was last Wednesday. The surgery was to repair a hernia. His medical team said there were no complications and that he is recovering successfully. But his hospitalization did spark some concerns initially over his health, and that's because of these other hospital stays. He was admitted earlier this year for a lung infection. 2 years ago, he had part of his colon removed, and of course, he is 86 years old. The Vatican says the Pope spent most of his time in the hospital resting and recovering. But, Stephen, he did find time yesterday to visit the children's cancer ward, and there's some just lovely pictures of him in that cancer ward thanking the children for their letters, their drawings, and messages of support.
That likely helping his spirits. That's important along with that sense of humor. Also important, though, for him to take some time to recover. Has the Vatican given any indication of when he is going to go back to those normal duties?
Well, his doctor says the Pope is already back at work, and we can see that. Today, he plans to recite his noon prayer on Sunday in St. Peter's Square, his usual noon prayer, and also resume private audiences. But he'll be skipping next Wednesday's general audience to safeguard his recovery, the Vatican says. Stephen.
Important to take that time. Kelly, also, I know the Pope has a busy summer schedule. Those trips that he has planned to Portugal and also to Mongolia. Is this surgery, is that expected to affect those travel plans in any way?
Well, his surgeon says he should be well enough to travel by then. He cautioned only that the Pope shouldn't do any heavy lifting, which is understandable after a hernia surgery. His doctor said, we've asked him to rest a bit, and we're sure he'll listen a bit more this time because of those important commitments he has over the summer. He'll be spending World Youth Day in Portugal at the beginning of August, and then a visit to Mongolia at the end of August. But, Stephen, the Pope traditionally takes all of July off. His only public appearances are Sunday blessings, so he'll have all of that time to recover before that busy August schedule. Stephen.
Some well-needed time. I still love his response to those reporters. I'm still alive. He's a funny guy. All right, Kelly, thanks so much.
The two Tennessee legislators who were expelled earlier this year after protesting gun violence are one step closer to getting reelected to their old seats. Justin Jones won his primary election yesterday in Nashville, as did Justin Pearson in the Memphis area. Now they move on to the general election in August. And the two Democrats were expelled back in April when they protested gun violence following that school mass shooting at Covenant in April. The expulsion drew national attention, prompted accusations of racism. Jones and Pearson were reinstated to their seats days later, but they still had to run to be reelected to their old seats.
Welcome back. Authorities in Mexico are looking into the deaths of two Americans found in their room at a luxury resort in Cabo San Lucas. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has more on what authorities say may have happened.
This morning, this upscale resort just outside Cabo San Lucas is now the site of an investigation into the deaths of an American couple.
It's just devastating.
Authorities say 28-year-old Abby Lutz and her boyfriend, 41-year-old John Heathcote, were found unresponsive inside their hotel room by staff at the Rancho Pescadera Hotel, where rooms can cost up to $1,000 a night. Over the weekend, Lutz's family says the couple started feeling ill after they arrived and headed to the hospital to seek treatment.
She got really sick and they thought it was food poisoning. They spent the night with IVs, getting IVs and things, and then they felt better. They went back to the hotel and spent the day at the pool. When they went to bed, I guess they didn't wake up.
On a GoFundMe page, Lutz's family writes, "We have been told it was due to improper venting of the resort and could be carbon monoxide poisoning."
They just thought it was food poisoning. They had no idea. None of us thought about that, because you can't smell carbon monoxide.
In a statement, the hotel, owned by the Hyatt, says in part, out of an abundance of caution and respect for the families and all those affected, we are refraining from speculation about the cause, adding there is no threat to guest safety or well-being at this time. Sadly, deaths like these are far too common. In October, 3 Americans appeared to have died from carbon monoxide poisoning in an upscale Airbnb in Mexico City. And last May, 3 U.S. tourists were found dead at a sandals resort in the Bahamas, also killed by carbon monoxide poisoning. A tragedy in paradise for a young couple and the families they left behind.
We love her family, all friends. We'll miss her so much.
And our thanks to Miguel Almaguer for that reporting. While the cause of death of those two travelers has not been officially confirmed, if this story gives you any pause about your safety while traveling, you're not alone. And doctors we talked to say you can pick up battery-operated CO2 detectors and keep them with you when you travel to let you know if there may be carbon monoxide present.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is heading to China today in his first visit to the country during the Biden administration. Remember, he was originally scheduled to travel there earlier this year, but that trip was postponed following the spy balloon incident over the U.S. NBC News foreign correspondent Janice Mackey-Frayer has the latest from Beijing.
High stakes, low expectations, but it's on. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heading to Beijing for meetings with Chinese officials here on Sunday and Monday in what is seen as a crucial bid to try to reset this very complex relationship. This is the highest cabinet-level visit to China yet for the Biden administration. It's coming late after Secretary Blinken called off the trip when that spy balloon was shot down. So in many ways, this is the reset of the reset, and both sides are trying to appear to be managing this relationship responsibly. So in that sense, going through the motions holds some utility. Few details as it stands about when the meetings will happen and with whom, but we do know he'll get time on Monday with China's President Xi Jinping, who today met with Bill Gates. Very rare for a Chinese president to take a meeting with a business leader, but he told Bill Gates, quote, "You are the first American friend to visit me in Beijing this year." When both sides do get together, there will be no shortage of issues to discuss. Tariffs, Taiwan, AI, American detainees here, confrontation in the South China Sea, certainly Russia's war in Ukraine. Both sides are using very careful language in saying they want this to yield open lines of communication and ways to manage competition. It actually started a couple of days ago with a phone call between the Secretary of State and Foreign Minister Qin Gang. Judging from the readouts, it wasn't a very warm conversation. It's why nobody is expecting any breakthroughs, but are seeing the visit happening as a sign of progress, that maybe this can pave the way for more high-level cabinet meetings and visits to China. Certainly what China is looking for as the economy is showing signs of softening here, and perhaps a get-together between President Xi and President Biden before the end of the year.
All right, Janice, appreciate that context. Thank you.
Well, more international headlines now. In central Canada, at least 15 were killed in a crash involving a truck and a bus.
Claudio Longo joins us now from Rome with that and more. Claudio, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, the small bus caught fire after it collided with a truck at a highway junction in central Canada, killing at least 15 people traveling on it and injuring 10 others. Now, the bus was carrying a group of mostly elderly people who were on their way to a casino nearby. It is believed to be one of the most deadly road accidents in Canada in years. Police said the drivers of the bus and the truck survived, but declined to say who might have been responsible for the crash. Now let's go to India, where at least 2 people have died after cyclone Biparjoy made landfall on the western Gujarat state close to Pakistan. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, when it made landfall, the cyclone brought 65 miles per hour winds and rainfalls of up to 20 inches. Dramatic images of roads turning into rivers, trees bending in the wind, and people wading waist deep in floodwater were shown on Indian television. And let's end this short tour of the world in Peru, where archaeologists found a 3,000-year-old mummy. It was found by students of San Marcos University and other researchers during an excavation in the capital, Lima. Archaeologist Miguel Aguilar said the burial site contained items like corn, coca leaves, and seeds, which led him to believe the mummy had been offered as a sacrifice during the last phase of a construction of a temple. Back to you guys.
Wow, quite a find. All right, Claudia, thank you.
We are back now with a summer time travel question. Time travel. That sounds a little different.
Cool.
How long is too long to be flying in a plane? 8 hours? 10, 12?
You may be wishing for time travel after this one. How about 19 hours nonstop to Sydney, Australia? Wow. That's a commitment. You may recall our own NBC News correspondent, Tom Costello. He flew on a research flight to Sydney a few years ago just like this, and now that research is in about whether passengers and crews can handle such an extreme trip.
So he joins us now, lucky for us, live from JFK Airport. All right, Tom, what's the verdict?
Bottom line is, Qantas says the research shows that 20 hours is doable. Now, listen, here's the deal. Right now, Singapore Airlines flies direct New York to Singapore, 18 hours, 45 minutes. Sydney, going to Sydney direct from New York, that's 19 and a half hours, pushing 20. So I was on one of these research flights, and the bottom line on the findings, in fact, there is a way to make that jet lag phenomenon not quite so miserable. If you're like most people, the thought of spending even a minute longer on a plane may seem unappealing. At Qantas Airlines, they're testing the limits of what's possible. It was 2019 before the pandemic. We joined a Qantas research flight with just a handful of passengers on a 19-plus hour flight to Down Under. Takeoff time 9:27 p.m. out of New York, 12:27 p.m. tomorrow in Sydney. On board, researchers monitored the 4 pilots who wore brain scan and light exposure meters. What's your biggest concern?
Just making sure that the pilots and the crew on board the aircraft are getting enough rest, getting enough nutrition, and doing all the right things that are going to maintain their health and well-being on board such a long flight.
Could they manage the jet lag?
That is the enemy that I face every time I fly. I just get really, really groggy and lazy, and I don't want to do anything.
The key, reset our body clocks. Right away, the plane was on Sydney time. That meant lunchtime. A low-carb, spicy meal with lights on bright to keep us awake. Then exercise, the Macarena at 2 a.m. to keep the blood moving.
We are tricking our bodies. At the moment, because we're flying west, we are delaying our sleep.
Not easy. 3:30 in the morning East Coast time, which means I've now been awake for 22 hours, and I really would love to go to sleep. The pilots, meanwhile, rotated through sleep shifts in their private quarters.
We need to extend the duty times of pilots from 20 hours to 22 hours, maybe to 24 hours.
I'm not sure. It's definitely longer, so feeling a little more tired, but we'll see how it goes.
Finally, we were allowed to sleep in total darkness. Blue screens discouraged. When we awoke, researchers tested passenger alertness.
I feel better, but time will tell this afternoon.
Then, 19 hours and 16 minutes later,
you'll get a magnificent view of the Opera House.
Touchdown in Sydney. Fast forward to today, and the University of Sydney's research results are in.
If you optimize the times when you are exposed to light, when you eat, when you exercise, it will help synchronize the body clocks and reduce jet lag.
The food, lights, and exercise did lead to better quality of sleep in flight, less severe jet lag, and better cognitive performance 2 days after the flight. So Qantas has ordered 12 new Airbus planes specially designed with fewer seats, more room, and that all-important Macarena exercise area. In first class, mini hotel suites. It's a big bet to connect Down Under with Up Here.
Project Sunrise, which whole intent is to make Australia that bit closer to the rest of the world.
So Qantas has ordered these brand new Airbus A350s. They're going to come with almost 100 fewer seats, and that allows them to have bigger seats in coach and that exercise area for the Macarena, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, we'd love that.
Oh, yeah, lots of fun.
All right, so Tom, not everybody watching is going to fly to Sydney, fly to Singapore. What are some ways, though, if you do feel general malaise on some of the longer haul flights, what can we do?
You know, I fly to Europe often for family and also for work, and I've tried everything over several decades. So here's what I do. First of all, water, water, water. Don't drink soda and don't drink alcohol. Also, you want to try to, at least I take a melatonin or a ZQuil when I first get on board so I can sleep about 4 hours right away, starting at 6 p.m. East Coast time. That way I'm rested when I land. Wear comfortable clothes. You also want to wear headphones so you can block out the noise. And you do want to get up and move a little bit. You want to avoid that risk of blood clots in the legs. But listen, it's all about hydrating. It's not a party in the skies. It's a hydration exercise, you guys.
What are you, the airplane police?
I know, no drinking, no, yeah, come on, Tom. A little bit of fun up there. Airplane police. All right, Tom, thanks so much.
Today, it marks 60 years since a female astronaut made history, becoming the first woman to fly into outer space.
Yeah, incredible. On June 16th, 1963, Russian cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova was launched on a solo mission aboard the spacecraft Vostok 6. 2 years after the first human-crewed flight in space.
Joining us right now to discuss is Eileen Collins, retired NASA astronaut and author of The Story of the First American Woman to Command a Space Mission. Eileen, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us here. It's really an honor to get to talk to you. We know this was the first of many steps for women in space. What kind of doors did Tereshkova's accomplishments open for you and other women in space?
Well, I think the first thing that she did is prove that women can do it. And her first flight, if you look it up, it was actually almost 3 days long. And she went by herself. Now, she wasn't the first person in space. Of course, Yuri Gagarin had flown before her. And that Vostok spacecraft that she flew on was built for one person. Valentina, by the way, I met her in 1995 before my first flight in space. She was a parachutist. She was not a pilot or a professional cosmonaut until the Soviet Union, because of her background, thought that she was the right person for the flight, so they asked her to do this flight. And I'm going to say she's a very tough lady. Like I said, I was able to meet her, and she was a very pointed, asking me some very direct questions. And she's, I'd say, lived quite a risky, dangerous life. And I really hit it off with her, considering the fact that we grew up in two very different countries and really have lived two very different lives.
Wow, that is fascinating. So cool that you actually got to meet her. And Eileen, I know you've made history yourself as the first female pilot and first female commander of a space shuttle. So talk to us about this first flight. Did it inspire your own journey into space?
Well, so let me say first something about Valentina. So I actually, when that flight happened, I was so young. I was alive, but I was a little toddler, so I didn't actually know what happened. But after I became, I'm going to say older, high school, college, and I learned about Valentina and that women could do it, I wanted to be an astronaut myself. So I started looking into the U.S. space program, which at the time had no women. It wasn't until 1978 that NASA selected their first women to be part of the space shuttle program. And then I started planning for myself, is this something that I can do? But I also want to say that back in the early 1960s, NASA did a test with, I think there were about 25 women, 13 of them made it through. They're called the Mercury 13. That testing was on the ground. It was medical and physical testing to see, can women handle the stresses of spaceflight? They succeeded. They did very well. But unfortunately, it wasn't until Sally Ride flew her first flight in 1983 that women in the United States actually got a chance to fly.
And Eileen, we could talk to you about this all day. Unfortunately, we got to be quick with you on this last one. What work do we still need to do for equality for men and women in this field and other STEM careers?
Well, I think that we're basically there as far as opportunities. Not as what many women choose STEM careers or choose to be astronauts, but it is equal opportunity. So if a young woman listening right now, if you want to be an astronaut or if you want to work in a STEM field, the opportunities are there. In fact, companies want you. NASA wants you. Please apply, or please, take a look at it and do the kind of things you need to do to prepare to be an astronaut. It's a very, very wonderful, exciting career field.
What an endorsement. Eileen Collins, you have inspired so many, including us right here. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
We're back now with financial headlines and more changes in the top leadership at Disney.
CNBC's Silvana now joins us with that and other news. Silvana, good morning.
Lindsay, Stephen, good morning. Yeah, changes at Disney. Longtime chief financial officer is leaving the company. Christine McCarthy, who has been with Disney for 23 years and in the role of CFO since 2015, is taking a family medical leave of absence. Now, reports say that McCarthy has clashed with CEO Bob Iger and other executives over the company's strategy, including the amount of money that Disney spends on content for its streaming services. She also played a major role in ousting former CEO Bob Chapek last year, telling the board she had lost confidence in his leadership. Mercedes-Benz and Microsoft are testing ChatGPT in the automaker's luxury vehicles starting today. Mercedes says owners with the M-Bucks system will be able to download the AI chatbot after opting in through the Mercedes app or by voice command. Now, you'll be able to ask for trip information, ask other questions, or even have a conversation with your car, such as what to make for dinner. Now, eventually, you could make restaurant reservations, book movie tickets, and carry out other tasks. The test will last 3 months to see how drivers use the technology. And Americans plan to spend a record amount of money on Dad this year. A recent survey by the National Retail Federation forecasts consumers will shell out nearly $23 billion. So that's up 10% from last year, and that works out to about $200 on average per person. The most popular gift for Dad, well, a greeting card followed by clothes, special outings, gift cards, and personal care items, guys.
Yeah, you got to do the card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gift cards.
I'm sure our dads also have just like a million razors.
I know. And ties.
Your ties.
Coffee cups. Yeah, I've tried them all. All right. It's a lot
of things.
Thanks.
Sure.
Well, wedding season is officially here, and in the months to come, many Americans will be popping that champagne and putting on their dancing shoes to toast their favorite newlyweds.
Tying the knot, of course, so fun, so meaningful, but so expensive. Ooh. So NBC News business and data reporter Brian Chung is here to walk us through some of the numbers. Brian, how bad is it?
Yeah, well, it is expensive. So welcome to wedding season. I've got some few fun stats here for you. $6,000, that's how much it's going to cost you on average for an engagement ring. Of course, there are cheaper options if you go lab grown or synthetic. But look, as far as the engagement itself, some interesting stats on just the length of it. The average engagement period is about 15 months. 54% of couples are together for much longer than that, about 5 years or more. But guess this, wouldn't have guessed that December was actually the most common month to get engaged. We usually see summer photos in the park, but 15%, that's the highest share actually getting engaged in December. These stats according to Zola and also The Knot.
Wow. Well, let's get to the main event, Brian. How much are people spending on their actual...
How much did you... I want a big board presentation of Stevens.
Oh, no, you do not. I was never planning on getting married, so it was quite expensive for me. Brian, how much are other people spending?
I was going to say, let's take a look at the average and see where that compares, Stephen. But look, the average wedding cost is $30,000. It's going to be a lot more expensive depending on where you are. In New York City, for example, it's going to be about double that. But interesting to see that, of course, the largest share of that cost comes from the venue itself, $11,000 at a minimum in terms of just how much people on average are spending there. And even the photographer, right, just getting those photos, $2,500 is the average fee. And then this is actually a really interesting stat. When people go, oh, this is such a big wedding, or this is such a small wedding, the number to compare it to, 115 guests. That's how many people on average attend those weddings. And of course, you're thinking about the math in your head. How many plates do you need to have for all of those guests?
Ooh, one thing about those guest lists is they just keep growing and growing. And growing. There's always, my husband was like, somebody was nice to me once on an elevator. Let's invite him. It was a problem. So, Brian, the bride and groom, or grooms and brides, they're not the only ones being left out of a pocket for a wedding. So how much is it costing people to attend a wedding?
Yeah, well, it's expensive to go to someone else's wedding. So we got some average statistics on that as well. $611, this is according to Bankrate, is the average wedding cost per event. Now, that's pretty expensive. That's going to include travel accommodation, gifts, and also attire and grooming. The stats that I have here on the right side are for the whole wedding season. So this is not per event. So you're going to go to multiple events over the course of the season. But look, the most expensive thing is just to get to there, get to the wedding. Of course, if it's a destination wedding, that's even more expensive. But all of these costs are adding up in a high inflationary environment. 36% of people polled by Bankrate said they want to be more financially conservative as they try to budget to go out to these weddings. And of course, again, it's going to depend on how far and how aggressive these weddings are.
Aggressive. That's a good word for it, Brian.
Grooming. I didn't realize we were grooming ourselves before, but okay. Brian Chung.
Cream and groom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, all you Friends fans. The iconic coffee house from the treasured sitcom is making its way to Boston. Step into the world that Rachel, Ross, Monica, and the gang all got to experience. You can immerse yourself, sit on the orange couch, take some selfies over your Central Perk latte. And you may wonder, why not New York? That's where the show is set. Well, Central Perk Coffee Co. President Joe Gurdoch said he is proud that the world-class city of Boston will be the home of our new Central Perk concept. I love that in the show, they just sit there for like hours over one cup of coffee. They just and
that couch is always open.
Yeah.
There's never a crowd. Yeah.
Except that one episode where they got into a fight. But anyway, finally this hour, it's Friday, which means it's time for this week's Can't Miss list.
It's the best part of the week. All the movies, shows that you need to see this weekend. And joining us now to help us guide through all of this, Chris Witherspoon. He's the founder and CEO of Pop Viewers and an NBC News entertainment contributor. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Big studio releases I'm very excited about The Flash. It's been such a long time coming. Also, Elemental coming out. What can you tell us about these?
Yeah, so The Flash, don't blink, you'll miss it. It's a quick one. But it stars Ezra Miller, Ben Affleck, the OG Batman, Michael Keaton's in this one. And this The Flash, he goes back in time to try and save his family, but he ends up wreaking havoc. He has to kind of undo all that he's done, has to face off against this really bad guy named General Zod and try to save humanity. But I gotta say, Michael Keaton really steals the show. I saw this in theaters, and the audience erupted into like applause when Michael Keaton came out. And there's lots of cameo appearances. I will not give those away. I'm not going to get in trouble for that. But my son, he's 11 years old, so it's one of the top 3 films he's seen this year. That's his little critic review there. And also Elemental. It's a Pixar film. It's animated. It is their first rom-com. So it's set in Element City where nature comes to life and tells the story of what happens when the element fire meets water. So a young lady named Ember and a guy named Wade discover how much they actually have in common. And Wade comes from like a well-off family. Ember is from an immigrant family. So it's a beautiful love story and a really unique concept.
All right. Very interesting. There's a genre here, something new. It's called The Blackening. It's sort of political satire, kind of horror as well. What is this about?
Yeah, so it's kind of a horror comedy, but it's from the director who did Barbershop and also the movie Ride Along, so he knows what he's doing, Tim's story. But 7 friends who go on a weekend getaway and wind up trapped in a cabin with a killer who has a vendetta. So they have to use their knowledge of horror movies and black trivia to not get killed by this killer. But it stars Dwayne Perkins, Grace Byers, Jay Farrell, Yvonne Orji, and I love the kind of tagline here, we can't all die first. Because black folks normally die first in the movies, so this is like kind of turning that on its head.
Wow, can't wait to see that one, The Blackening. Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Also, Wes Anderson fans out there talking about Asteroid City. I saw a trailer for this one. Seems very Wes Anderson. What can you tell us about this one?
So this is a sci-fi rom-com from Wes Craven, actually, right? One of the most star-studded movies of the summer. Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Tilda Swinton, and it takes place at a junior stargazer convention in 1955. It's disrupted into world-changing events. It's quirky, it's odd, it's all things we've come to know from this really incredible director. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities in there. All right, so what do we do if we're staying home? What do we watch?
So we got some stuff to stream, you guys, some really good stuff. This one is Black Mirror. It's season 6. I love this show. If you all haven't watched it, have you guys watched it yet?
Yeah.
Okay, it's phenomenal. For those who haven't watched it, it's an anthology series set in the future where technology kind of runs amok. It's a cautionary tale of technology becoming too, embedded into our lives. But it's basically, it's kind of like the Twilight Zone, but each one feels like a film. Each episode feels like a mini film. You got some great stars: Annie Murphy, Salma Hayek, Michael Cera is in this, and so it's just phenomenal. I watched an episode last night, and I'm kind of freaked out right now.
Yeah, it's very real.
It's very real. And then a film you can stream is called Extraction Part 2. The first one came out in 2020, starring Chris Hemsworth. All the action. He's a mercenary named Tyler Rake who rescued the kidnapped son of a crime lord. But this time his team, they're teaming back up again to take on another mission. Phenomenal, big budget, and kind of cool here. 21-minute fight scene that took 6 weeks to film.
Wow.
400 extras.
21 minutes.
They're putting a lot into this movie.
Yeah, it's worth it just to see that. All right, good. I need something now that Ted Lasso's done.
Okay, yes.
I feel sad.
What do you mean, Ted Lasso? What do you mean?
Well, and the 3rd season, the series is essentially done, so I need something new to watch.
Oh, that's good. Yes, I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And you're going for Extraction 2 as your replacement for Ted Lasso?
At least, that's cool.
No, I think it'll be good. Also, Outlander, you guys. This is the 7th season of Outlander. It's coming to Stars. So phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, you can catch it on Netflix as well.
Yeah, a lot of big fans.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.